I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the Cowboy Man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
Father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses because it would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse, trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Paranormal Odyssey. I'm your host, Wayne, not joined by my partner in crime, Miss Tiffany. Tiffany is sick, so she is not on this one. And if you guys can tell from my voice, I'm not doing very well either. Did not want to miss this show, though. We are recapping this past weekend, the amazing time that we had with Mannimals investigators out on our investigation on BigFrog Mountain. I was hoping my voice would be better than this. My voice is a lot better than it was a couple of days ago, but it's not 100%, as you guys can tell. We all went out there Good Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving, this past Friday. That morning, Walls, who is backstage, is going to be joining us in a minute, as well as Mr. Kevin will be joining us. Walls picked me up Friday morning, bright and early, about 8 o'clock or so, and we headed up there. And on the way up there, I told him, man, my throat's starting to hurt. This sucks. That's when it started for me. And then Saturday morning, Kevin Zagan and I made a trip to the town to pick up some stuff, and that's when my voice started to go, and it was getting worse from there on out. So I'm gonna try to make it through this episode, guys. Please bear with me. I apologize. Doing the best that I can. Again, Miss Tiffany is sick as well. Chris Blaylock was with us this weekend. She was going to come on tonight, but she has no voice. I just found out, so I don't know what the heck is going around, but it is not good. Friday night, Walls and I camped in the tent, and everything was fine. And then Saturday, I had planned on camping or sleeping in the tent again, but I felt terrible. I ended up sleeping in his truck, bundled up in blankets, with the heat going and all of that. So I don't know. Still feel pretty crappy, but my voice is so much better than it was. Anyway, hope everyone is doing well out there. We got a lot of pictures to show from the weekend. This was so much fun. It didn't matter if I was sick or not. We had a blast on this trip. 13 of us ended up being out there. Kevin, his son, Kevin Jr., came out just to get an idea what was going on. He got sick. I don't know the extent of it, but he had to go home. He had to cut his trip short. So, yeah, it wasn't good. But we're going to get the guys out here in just a minute. Before we do that, we got bills to pay. You guys out there, if you are new to the show, please do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Help us continue to grow the show. If you've had an encounter and would like to come on and talk and share it with us here on Paranormal Odyssey, we would love to talk to you about that. You can get me at Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com or Tiffany at paranormalworldproductions.com. Either one of us is fine. We can both get you set up. So, yeah, if you want to call on and share, that is how you do it. I want to ask everyone to head over to paranormalworldproductions.com. Check out the website. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out all of the other shows. All of that cool stuff. Please head over to paranormalworldproductions.com. Pick up some merch. That'd be cool. Guys, if y'all have any questions tonight, please put those in all caps. It's going to be just me. So I won't guarantee that I'll see them all, but I will do my best. If you have any questions at all, we welcome those. Please, though, put those in all caps. Like I said, by myself, it is hard to catch them. So in all caps helps me out so much. So please do that. All right, you guys, our membership is still open. We've added a few new members lately. It is $1.99 a month. Let's go over here. I'm sure I don't see it, but I'm sure Mr. Alex has already said best $1.99 ever. And I would agree with that. $1.99 a month. That's less than you spend on one Coke. And for that, you get extra content. You get early access to content. You get live members only. You get access to our members only Discord. Just all kind of cool stuff. And it helps us out. It really does. This stuff is not free. So, we would appreciate it. If you're interested in becoming a member, just click that join button it should be beside the subscribe button. And again, as always, you see at the bottom, the Cash App and the Venmo are open. If you would like to help us out, just help us keep going, help us pay the bills a little bit. We would certainly appreciate it. You guys are awesome with the super stickers, but YouTube certainly likes to take their percentage, and it's a very high percentage. So you guys can do it that way. You can, if you want to do the super sticker, that's fine. It doesn't matter. But if you want to help us out, it helps us more if you can do it through the Cash App and the Venmo. You guys usually take advantage of that. So we really, really do appreciate it. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I know I can tell my voice is getting worse as I'm speaking, and I'm sorry about that. But we're gonna get through this because this was an amazing weekend. We had so much fun. We didn't see a Bigfoot. We saw orbs. We got some crazy sounds. One of the guys I was hoping would be on tonight, Mr. Zagan. You guys know him as Bigfoot Forensics. He left a trail cam out at one of the locations that we checked out this weekend, and he caught something running. Just running. It sounded kind of like bipedal to me. He said it sounded like four legs to him, but I thought it sounded like bipedal. I know Dan said it sounded like bipedal as well. But in the area, Kevin also had a camera out, and at the exact same time, he didn't pick up anything. It might have been Zagan picked it up on his recorder at the same time. that Kevin had his camera out and there was nothing there, but something was running. Now, something could have been running behind the camera. That's certainly a possibility. But anyway, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get the guys out here. There's so much to talk to or to talk about to cover from this weekend. So we are going to get them out. I've got backstage. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. I've got backstage VP of Mannimals Research, my brother from another mother, been in this from the very beginning, Mr. Jasper Walls, as well as another brother from another mother, Mr. Kevin Jones. The three of us were talking about a title to give to Kevin. And I think he's going to be our new operations manager for the group. Because Kevin's amazing. He's been in it for a while now, and he really does give it his all. All right, let's get out Jasper and Kevin. What's up, fellas?
All right, man. Yeah, titles and $1 will get you something off the dollar menu at McDonald's.
That's exactly right. Do they even have dollar menus anymore?
I think so.
They might be $1. They ain't $1.
Look, well, before we get going, I just wanted to do another thank you because I know you don't feel good, Wayne, but another thank you to Gary and Chris for keeping us fed, to Walls for keeping us fed lunch on Saturday, and also Bobby Sledge for, man, if he hadn't brought us 17 pickup truckloads of firewood, it seems like a truckload and a half, we would have froze even more than we did. So, and plus the food he brought, the desserts he brought, and I mean the heaters, he took good care of us. So thank you to all those folks.
Yeah, before we go any further, I meant to do this in the monologue, but Bobby Sledge, you are the man. You're in the chat right now. He brought us 2 truckloads full of firewood that he paid for out of his pocket. He brought us his 4-wheeler, his brand new Polaris 4-wheeler, and gave us complete access to it all weekend long. He brought a couple of firearms to give to a couple of members that didn't have them. He was just awesome. He brought food. He brought desserts. He lived in the area, which makes it easy on him. He didn't camp, so he went home because his daughter Brittany, who's also a member of Mannimals, recently had a very, very severe car accident where she shattered her arm. So they weren't able to camp, but where we camped was very close to where they live. So Bobby stepped it up. He was amazing. He did he went above and beyond. So thank you very much, Bobby.
Heck yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the locations. We found, or Bobby told us about a cemetery and a campground that was recently closed down. Now, on Saturday night, as I said, that's when my voice went out. I was sick as a dog. I stayed back at the camp with Chris and Gary and Brittany, and everybody else split up into 2 teams and went out to those locations. Now we got Kevin, who was kind of like overseeing one of the locations, and Walls, who was overseeing the other. Now let's start with Walls. At your location, what did you experience?
We went to the old campground. It was actually you could say it was a creepy kind of vibe because the picnic tables are still there. The poles for old lanterns were still there. Didn't really get much. I did a few howls and didn't really get nothing out of it. I know some other people went in there and they felt like they had something there. But when I went with, I believe I went with Dave and Bobby and one of Chris's daughters, and didn't really get that vibe like me and you've been where we've had before, and it was just. But we made a couple calls. They heard me over in the cemetery where they were at, and then nothing really came at us there. But you do get a creepy feeling being there because you see all the picnic tables and those stuff. I mean, it is a creepy area. I'll give it that. It is creepy.
Yeah, you guys didn't spend a whole lot of time there before you made your way over to the other location where Kevin was. Kevin, what did you guys experience?
Well, when we were there at night, at the cemetery, we didn't feel a whole lot of anything or hear anything. That's where David had his recorder that he picked up, but it sounded like something walking through the leaves. All I got on pictures was our two groups going back and forth. But when we went there during the day to visit them and see what they looked like, I never got a bad feeling at the cemetery. I mean, it's an old cemetery. There's some of the tombstones. There was a guy who was born in Germany and obviously came over, long time ago. And then we went to the campground, and that was where the campground itself is kind of eerie. But when we went back in the woods a little bit, where we found some things that were suspicious, you might have those pictures on here. That's where I got that really sinister feeling that was just bad. And April Spoon, who didn't go in with us, her husband did, Tim, but she started having chest pain. And then when when they drove away from there, those disappeared. They stopped. But that night, and then when you and I went back the next day to get my trail cam from there, I didn't really get any feeling. It wasn't there anymore. That's where we saw the horse though, in the campground or lights,
Okay.
whatever you want to call them.
Now, Kevin, your group, you guys experienced some orbs, didn't you?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Either some orb or either just light. And there's
Well,
no electricity out there, so it wasn't anything like
tell
that.
us about what you guys experienced, if
Well,
you don't
it
mind
was
going into detail.
David Zygan and I, and then Tim and April Spoon, and we were sitting on one of those picnic tables. Which, whenever you're out in the cold, because hot goes to cold, don't sit on a concrete picnic table. It takes all the heat out of you. I was freezing when we left there, but but David and I were facing the same way, back toward the woods, and then Tim and April were facing toward the road. And I just kept seeing these little flashes of, of blue light. David described them as like somebody biting on a wintergreen lifesaver and it's sparking. I've never seen that before. But yeah, he's from Georgia, so who knows why. But no, I'm kidding. But I kept seeing them, like maybe, I don't know, 25 yards from me, in maybe a 20 to 25-foot swath. And they were real quick flashes, and then occasionally I'd see one, zip across, a few feet, and then it would disappear. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching these things for about 10 minutes, and I'm looking other places to make sure it's not me, and I don't see them in other areas. So finally, I say to the group that, look, I think I'm losing my mind. Maybe I'm seeing things. And Tim did say as he turned around, he saw something out of the corner of his eye, but he couldn't be sure. And David kind of, he was like, "Are you sure it's not a reflection off your glasses?" And I'm like, "Well, what would be reflecting?" Well, we sat there probably another 10 minutes, and that's when he said, "I need to tell you something." And I'm like, "What's that?" He said, "Those little blue lights, are they like little sparks?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "I just saw one spark and then go to the ground." And I'm like, "That's it." And that was the only one he saw. But then, I guess it was 10 minutes later, I thought I saw something that looked like a flashlight in the woods, just a quick burst of a flashlight, kind of dim, and then another blue light, and that was away from where I'd been looking. But I just kind of wrote that off. But a few minutes after that was when Tim and David saw this really bright white light, like a spotlight. They said I was looking back toward the woods, so I didn't see it on the road, and it lit up for about 2 seconds. They both kept saying 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then it went back out. And a few minutes, well, not minutes, but a few seconds after that's when Walls came over and said, "We're headed back to camp." And we found out that then they were already in the truck. So I was like, "Oh, it's probably one of them shining their flashlight down here." That was my explanation. But then when we left to go back, we realized there's a curve there in that dirt path, that dirt road. So it would have been hard for them to shine a spotlight down there. And even Bobby Sledge was saying, we didn't have a light bright enough to do that. So we have no clue what that light was at this point in time. But we are researching that area some more now to see, is there an old story of something that caused that light to happen? Or
Now,
it's interesting to do the research on those things.
yeah, something that I really appreciate you about, something that I appreciate about you, Kevin, you research. You know, you're not quick to say that it's Bigfoot. You never have been, and I admire that about you. I appreciate it.
Well, you pay me very well.
You looked you looked into these blue lights that you were seeing, and tell everybody about what you found out about the blue lights.
Well, not a lot, but I mean, there is a firefly, in the South Carolina lightning bug, called a blue ghost that illuminates a blue light, and they're usually around Asheville, which is not that far from where we are or were. But they're only active in the spring and summer. It's during the mating season. The males will put off that light to attract the female, but not during the winter time. So that kind of wrote that off.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that's what we got to do as researchers. We got to look at every single possibility. And that's what I love about you. You always do it. So you found what could have explained what you've seen, instead of coming out here and talking about, oh my God, we saw Bigfoot orbs and everything. You looked into it before you made the claim.
Well, and for those who know me and that were there with us, and I'm sorry y'all ain't on here with us talking, because I'll talk a lot. I'm a little shy, but I've never believed in orbs because it goes against everything my Christian faith tells me.
Yeah.
I've seen orbs at Frog Mountain 3 times. I've been there 3 times. I've seen orbs every time. I can't explain it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you explain that. All right, Walls. Let's. What did you take away from the weekend? Did you have any experiences that kind of overwhelmed you, or what are your feelings about the weekend?
The weekend was pretty fun. The one that really got me, I guess, I'm hoping it got on recording. When we went to the cemetery, we actually, when he's talking about this blue spots, Chris's daughter and I was sitting there looking towards one grave up at where we sell something in the woods, and like it looks like a light going left from right to left and disappeared. Didn't see nothing else. And I was like, okay, it's probably an orb that they've been describing. And well, then we sat there and I done some recordings. I was right close to the recording there and was asking questions to the spirits and using my ghost app thing, and had a few things here come up in there. But I was asking the questions, and I'm hoping his recording got more stuff, maybe something answering. The biggest thing was I made a big howl. Actually, it was really a good howl, and it wasn't just me. It was all 4 of us heard it. Something low howled back at us. for at one time, and I even hollered at them while they were at the campground. I said, "Did y'all just howl at us?" And they said no. And I said, "Y'all 100% sure?" Yeah, it wasn't us. I asked Bobby and I said, "Y'all heard that, right? I'm not, insane. I'm not got Bigfoot on my head." And they said, "No, we heard that too." And I mean, that got me kind of excited. I'm like, okay, maybe one's coming in. But it never answered back. We whistled. We sat there and done some more little EVPs, and it didn't. It was a pretty cool. I liked the area. Didn't even know about the dang cemetery or the campground until then.
No, you would not know that cemetery was there unless, like us, we were privileged to have someone like Bobby who was familiar with the area. Walls, you and I, Kevin, you and I, we have drove by that down that road several times. Had no idea a cemetery was up in there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, we've drove past that and camped way up in the hill when people were at that spot. So I mean, when we first went over there and met a few other people, I really can't take away nothing. It was
something real quick, something that I took away, and I want to get both of you guys' opinions. This place, BigFrog Mountain on the Ocoee River, is a bear reserve. It also has a lot of wild hogs. There were people up there all weekend deer hunting. We had multiple cameras out all weekend. We did not pick up a single image of any kind of animal. Maybe the bears were hibernating. I don't know if they're doing that already, or if it's cold enough for them to hibernate already. We didn't pick up any images of animals. We didn't see any animals outside of maybe a couple squirrels. We barely heard any birds. This is the Cherokee National Forest. There should be animals everywhere. Kevin, what do you take away from that?
Well, I don't know if it's because it's so cold, but we've been up there 3 times together. First time was you, me, and Michael Smith. The second time was me, you, and Landon, my almost son-in-law. And then this time there's a whole group of us. And I've never seen or heard a lot of anything up there, which is, I
Me
think,
either.
again, going back to my faith thing, I say that because Wayne's always telling me, don't bring Bible stuff into it. Let's use science. And I'm like, I got to bring the faith in there. But one of my interests when I was in college going through as a religion major and then even in seminary was I've always had a huge interest in the Native American religions. And I put a lot of stock in places that there were big populations of them, that there's just something different. I've known people who are Native American who say, if you really want to see stuff, you need to come on the reservation. And I don't know if it's a spiritual thing with them because of their closeness to the earth or what. But I have found it odd that we've never really seen or heard a lot of things up there.
Yeah.
As Chris just said on there, it's very quiet except for us laughing around the fire. We probably ran everything off. He didn't say that. I said that part. But I want to point out, too, that Tim says he's been looking for a light. Tim is a researcher as well, Tim Spoon. So he wants to answer. So, but anyway.
You know what?
What do you think, Paul, about no creatures?
Yeah, go ahead.
Say that again, Kevin.
I said, what do you think about the lack of seeing a lot of creatures, or even catching any on camera?
Not catching something? Yeah, that's kind of crazy because I mean, when me and Wayne went up there and we somebody caught that image from his video in the trees. I mean, it was I think that was mid-fall, I mean, that's been a long time, but we had birds chirping and everything else until that certain whistle started whistling at us, and then we got freaked out and moved away, and we didn't hear no birds. And then, we didn't hear nothing during the daytime either. No birds, no nothing chirping. And except for, we did have a couple of owls cooing at us that part of the night, and then they just kind of went silent. But yeah, not even catching at least a possum or a squirrel or something back there. I mean, at least maybe a deer or two. I mean, it can't be. I mean, deer population is bad right now, so I don't know how we couldn't have missed anything. I mean, I just weird. Not even like when I go to the battlefield, there's a ton of deer there. Some nights I go there, you don't see these deers, but you can hear them in the woods walking around with each other. You don't hear it out there. There was nothing. I mean, it was just a dead zone.
Yeah, and Kevin and I, a couple weeks ago, we went up to scout the area, and we were fortunate enough to meet this hunter. We stopped and talked to him for a few minutes, and he talked about the bear. He kept telling us to be careful about the bear when we're out there. I've never seen any kind of bear activity. Now, I will say my ex, we're separated now, Jordan. She rode around up there last year. She went up there with my daughter Scarlett, just riding around because she thinks the area is beautiful, which it is. And that's something she does, just rides around looking at the scenery. She had a bear walk out in front of her in the car while she was driving. And I've never seen anything up there. I don't know what it is. Do either of y'all know when bears start to hibernate?
I don't. Bobby Sledge would be our expert on that.
They should be
Yes,
getting
if we
close
had
to it.
Tiffany here, she'd be looking it up for us.
It should be getting close to it right now. I mean, it should be really close. I mean, the winter coming early.
Well, it was.
Talking about do what, Kev?
I was just gonna say, Bobby and I had quite a few conversations. I was asking him a little bit about the history of the place, and he was saying if we really want to see something or get some activity, we should probably go up higher to the top. And he even mentioned that word feral people.
Oh shit! Really?
To be up in that area, yeah. People come up missing up there and stuff like that. That sounds like a challenge to me.
I'd like to do it for you. Hibernation starts about late fall, usually November or December. And however, existing exact times depends on factors, including food, daylight, temperatures, reproductive, and regions.
Okay. All right. All right, y'all guys. I think Kevin or one of you mentioned Mr. Spoon, and he and his wife April, when we were breaking down camp and we left, they decided to ride around in the mountains for a little while and take some pictures and check some stuff out. They sent me several pictures and they posted them in the group. This one right here is the most intriguing. How does that happen? They said this was 12 to 15 foot in the air. Something placed that there. It's vertical. I mean, it's almost perfectly horizontal. Not vertical, but horizontal. I mean, have you guys ever seen anything like that?
I haven't, and that's crazy to me.
I've seen this. I've seen similar to that, to things in the battlefield, but not that perfect. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and I think I commented a couple times this weekend. I'm not really big on tree structures. I've gotten to where I don't put a whole lot of stock in them. It has to be pretty impressive for me to even consider anything. But this one I think is, because you can see on the left it's broken off, and on the right it's broken off. Something placed that there, and something 12 to 15 feet in the air. So, I mean, did somebody have a ladder out there and did that just to mess with people? I don't think so.
Not there. I would think at the squat farm that we saw a lot of that, but not out there.
I don't even
There's
see
no
how
way.
Mother Nature. I don't even see Mother Nature doing it that good.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that's a perfect line.
But it was, yeah, it is, and it's really odd. But there's a lot of odd stuff up in there. And Bobby says that bears hibernate around Smoky Mountains from about mid-December to March.
Yeah.
But it was really cold. This time. I've never been that cold.
We've never camped that cold before, Kevin.
I haven't, no.
I know Walls and I have. We've been out there in the
fun.
damn single digits before.
And I do want to say for those who are on the show with us and stuff that aren't in that part of the group, flat out honest, you might get after me for saying this, Wayne, but that particular group is those who do pay the yearly dues. That's one of the benefits is we have that little group that gets to do extra things other than just to squat out. And we
Yeah.
love to have you in there, and that's what helps with expenses and stuff, because ain't none of us get paid for this. But we got a
Exactly.
lot of cool people, and we met a lot of. I mean, having a chance to sit back with people that we talk to only on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and build a bond for Bigfooting, and I hate to say, because I don't do this in my ministry, but it's ghost chasing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and
And one of the pluses from this is I get to announce real quickly that tonight's episode is brought to you by Peppers Are Paradise.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Goonie Goo Goo, Gary Blaylock, his lovely wife Chris. But Gary, his family, they own a spice company. Not spice, a sauce company. And he brought all kind of sauces out there. They've got Caribbean jerk, those pickles that I just had up there. They will light you the hell up. I can speak to that firsthand. But they have all different heat levels. This one right here is my favorite. As you guys can tell how much I've already eaten. It is the wife made me do it. And y'all look at how much I've already eaten since I got it this weekend. This shit is good, guys. Check
Does
out
it hurt you in the back end too?
check out Peppers Are Paradise. I think it's .com. They have a website. They also set up at different festivals and things like that. They're in the Kentucky area, but they do have a website. So please check out Peppers Are Paradise. You will not be disappointed. All these hot sauces, Tabasco and stuff like that. I mean, it's like they pride themselves on heat, like how much they can hurt you. These guys, they pride themselves on flavor. And I mean, you can taste the flavor in these sauces. And I'm going to be putting it in everything. Gary hooked me up with all kinds of all different kinds of sauces and pickles and barbecue sauce and everything. And when I get done with that, I'm going to be hitting them up online. So, yeah, y'all will be hearing more about Peppers Are Paradise from us. But please go check those guys out.
I got me
All
some. You got
right.
the barbecue there?
Yeah, I do. I didn't bring it out. It's in my fridge.
That barbecue one, I tried it on some turkey. Oh my Lord, that crap made it made it even 100,000 times better. Man.
Yeah, well, I mean, we cooked burgers Saturday for lunch. You cooked burgers for us Saturday for lunch, and I set my one burger out by itself, and I marinated it in the barbecue sauce. It was one of the best burgers I've ever had, and all I did was marinate it in the barbecue sauce, salt, and pepper. That's it. And I and Walls fried it up for me, and I could have eaten 3 of them. It was so good.
Yep.
All right. Kevin, what are your takeaways from the weekend? What did you get from this weekend?
I got to see orbs or light again. I did not. On our end, we did not hear the howl that Walls' group heard. I got a sense of even stronger uh, bonds or brother slash sisterhood with our group of people. A lot of people I found that there's a lot of people I can rely on.
Yep.
We broke up into some teams, and I think we had really good communication and work ethic with each other. Um, uh, I found out there's just a lot of, as always, a lot of really cool people, and I met a lot more cool people. I mean, to me, we're getting ready to move to Myrtle Beach because of friends from ours that we've known for years, and I love them dearly. But yeah, you guys are my family. Um,
Yeah.
you just are, and
Yeah, I'm still pissed at you for moving away from me, man.
but I'll hop in that truck and be there in just a few hours. But
Yeah,
when
with
Mama
you.
says something, you got to do it. But
That's true.
and then what Chris just or Tiffany or whoever just put up, maybe you did it about what Chris said. We did. We talked about a lot of theories and ideas, and it was fun because we could say like, I'm not really sure. I don't agree with you on that. That kind of thing. And nobody got mad. It was like okay. But I think what we
Yeah.
are is we're all sensible people that believe in this big creature, and everybody that doesn't believe in him thinks we're crazy for it. But we don't think that everything under the sun that moves in the woods is him or her. It's not Bigfoot. We look for explanations as to why. Is that Bigfoot? Is that not Bigfoot? Just like when we do a research thing, we look: is it a hoax or is it real? Why could it be a hoax? Why could it be real? So, and I think we're going to grow as an organization, and I think we're going to get into a lot of stuff, and we're gonna we're gonna be the group that proves some things at some point.
Yeah, I think you're right. It looks like you're frozen a little bit. A lot of that was
Okay.
breaking up, but we could hear it.
Oh, you just left us. See that darn paranormal stuff.
Well, that's not good with the host.
Yeah, I know he's gone. He just left us. All right, we're in charge now.
How are we? How are we supposed to be? How are we on and he's gone?
We're in charge. Dude just went up to $1,000 a year. I need a salary. Just kidding. Just kidding. Now you frozen. Am I the only one that's not frozen?
Back.
Rissel, that's funny. Well, now we lost Wall, so now it's just a redneck in charge. But yeah, and if none of you made it to the last Squatch out we did, we're looking at doing a Squatch out at Land Between the Lakes, hopefully in the spring. I'm gonna try to go up there and check out a couple of places as soon as Walls and I decide which ones to be checked out. Gary, you're right. That round table around the fire was great. It was great. We did a lot around the fire. We talked about a lot of good stuff, and it wasn't just a lot of BS. Now Friday night got a little crazy, but you're right, Tiffany. That is why we need Tiffany. That's why Wayne needs you. Yeah. But anyway,
We're not frozen now.
yeah, you keep freezing up too.
This
You're
is
back
crazy.
now.
Yeah, for right now. Maybe Wayne to get on here in a minute.
We hope so.
Yeah, that we already discussed that. I think March. Yeah, week before my birthday, I think we're gonna try to do that. Try to set that up for Land Between the Lakes. It's gonna be. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. That's supposed to be, as all the things, it's supposed to be more dangerous because of Dogman sightings, Bigfoot. Supposed to be all of it up there. So
yeah,
that one's going to be a little bit more, probably more active, I guess I'd say.
Wayne just sent me a message. I can't get back in. He can't even get into his own show.
What?
But
well, hell, we can't even end it. I guess we'll stay here all night.
But it's interesting though. I would love for more people to get involved and come with us. I've never been a big dog man thing, but I'm starting to look at some interesting theories on that as far as Sasquatch and dog man. And again, it goes back to biblical stuff for me. But anyway,
Yeah.
I did get a report, and I've talked to Tim and April, and I know Gary and Chris are close too, as well as Dan. But right down the road from where I live in Gallatin, just up from Nashville, is Springfield. And a young lady was telling me the other day they've heard noises and had strange feelings, and some folks out where they live in the country, have talked about seeing a grayish figure that walks around on all fours, but when it realizes it's been spotted by somebody, it stands up on 2 feet and runs into the woods. And that made me think, oh, and it's not real hairy. It's got close hair. And that made me start thinking, okay, Dogman maybe? So I'd like to get out there and check that out. She's trying to get me the exact places and stuff. If nothing else, she's going to give us access to her property, sit at the back of it. And
I need to contact the guy up there. He's not far from where you're at right now. He lives up there close to the Land Between the Lakes. And all he studies is Dogman. He goes out there and he's had pictures he sent me. And I've had him on the show, on the Bigfoot thing show. Back in the day, and I've had 2 big episodes with him where he showed pictures and had sounds of them. And I was like, okay, there's Wayne coming back now. And yeah, that I even had a fellow guy, wrestling promoter, that does Bigfoot stuff too, told me about, Bartow County, Bartow down there, that's supposed to be some Dogman. And he actually sent me a lead actually a couple weeks ago down there in Calhoun. Somebody reported seeing